Howdy, this is Lemmy with RevZilla TV, here to talk to you today about Paughco's Prewired bars for Harley. No doubt you're looking into handlebars for your rig. Why should Paughco jump out at you? Because these things have a lot of hard work already done for you. These things will fit on nearly every single Harley with a hydraulic front end. I mean, we're talking years and years worth of stuff here. Realistically speaking, that's pretty much 58 on up. These should work with most bikes. Installation on these is going to be difficult. You're looking at 2 out of 3 beards on our 3-beard BSD, or beard scale of difficulty. Depending on what it is that you're working with, even though Paughco's done a lot of the hard labor for you, there is still a little bit of difficulty in installing these. We'll get more to that a little bit later. Now's the time of the part of the program we pull them apart. So before we even get into the bars themselves, let's talk about how these came to us. It took me the better part of 3 months to open one of these up. All right, it wasn't that long, but Paughco really does pack the bejesus out of these, which is super nice. When you're plunking down this much coin for a set of bars, it really kind of stinks when you see something that comes damaged from shipping. It would be absolutely impossible to damage these. Paughco does a great job packaging them. I know it sounds kind of dopey, but the last thing you want to do is get your bars installed and then find out there's a tiny nick right where you can see it if you've done all that work. Not a concern here with the Paughcos. So one of the other things I think that's obvious is you see these wires hanging out of here. Paughco makes wiring super duper easy. What they've done here is pre-wired the bars. These things are already internally wired. You don't have to spend any time fishing a guitar string through there. That's just not even something you're going to need to consider. As far as construction, 120 wall tubing. These babies are heavy as shit. These are really nicely made bars. So when we pick these puppies up and actually look at them, you've got blade levers on here, late model, shovel, Evo style blade levers, but they're not the thick chunky type that you get from the factory. That's kind of a nice touch as far as I'm concerned. Brand new chrome master cylinder on this puppy. You've got a clutch perch, clutch lever, everything's set to rock and roll. You can see too here, these are their swept drag style bars. You can also see on my right here, we got a set of their apes, and then they also offer, which are not pictured up here, they also offer a set of apes with a little bit more distance between the uprights for those of you guys who are trying to throw these onto a fared motorcycle. Now flipping around here too, let me give you a cockpit view of these. I really like the grips on here. So these grips completely appropriate for a swept drag. These really have that Pro Street look about them. But you'll notice on the more traditional apes, you're going to see a more traditional Coke bottle style grip. They're pre-installed, they're ready to roll. These things really just need to be bolted on, wired, plumbed, and sent out the door. It's really nice. Back to the cockpit though, you can see chrome switch housings, matching chrome switches. The black bars, as you can see, have black housings and also black switchings. It's nice, they're thinking about every little detail on there. These things really are set to fly. One of the other areas I think these things shine, in addition to saving some money for you guys, think about those of you who might have wrecked your bike. If you have crashed, when you start tallying up the parts you need to, you wind up needing to replace, I think especially if you have like a light tip over, you go down on one side, sometimes not just the bars that bend, sometimes you got a throttle sleeve that's busted up or grips, add in a lever that might have snapped off or perhaps a hydraulic piece or a clutch perch. That stuff totals up quickly, especially when you consider the hassle of going back through and rewiring your bars. That is going to have to actually happen, especially if you like that internally wired look. So one item of note too, I think that is worth talking about on the swept drag style bars. This is a very different fitment down below that I'm accustomed to seeing. Rather than have the standard threaded bung inside the bar, what they do here is they actually have an externally threaded piece that will fit down into your trees, and these actually have a lock nut and set screw in there. So they attach differently. They do require the use of this riser bushing, which is included. It's a special riser bushing. Just keep in mind, if you're somebody who rocks solid riser bushings, these might not be the bar for you. Stick with the apes instead. So let's get into that installation like we talked about earlier. 2 or 3 bearder. This could be a little bit difficult for some of you. This is not as easy as changing grips, which by the way are included on the bars you're looking at here. Instead, this is going to be a little bit more difficult. The act of actually bolting the bars on, for those of you on an unfared motorcycle, is not really that difficult. I mean, you're literally going to remove 2 bolts and slap these things on there and you're set to go. The difficult part comes in installing your clutch cable, getting your throttle cables on and adjusted correctly, throwing your brake lines down to the front discs. You do have a little bit of work to do, and then ultimately you are also going to have to extend your lines. Really, this should be a simple snip job on most. You're going to wind up, again, crimping or soldering these connectors from the switches out to your factory stuff. You should be set to fly. This is a good weekend warrior project. I wouldn't say this is something you want to attack before you do your first oil change. If you haven't gotten that far, you might want to have a buddy help you out with these, but most of you should be able to get these things done. Paughco's really taken a lot of the hard work out with this pre-wiring, and again, you won't be fishing any cables. Keep in mind, those of you guys who are installing these on baggers, you have a difficult time of things. It's not Paughco's fault, unfortunately. It's just the nature of a beast dealing with a touring bike. Getting into that fairing, getting access to everything you need in there can be a little bit on the difficult side, but hang with it. Again, not bad for a weekend warrior job as long as you're good at following directions and keeping your eyeball on small parts. This is a really simple install. I love what Paughco has done here. They really have an innovative solution for those of you who don't like dealing with wiring. My opinion is not the only one that matters though. Click below, check out what the installs went like for some of the people who are already rolling these on their motorcycles. If you got questions beyond that, you need us to check out some fitment information for you, give us a holler. One of our Gear Geeks would love to talk to you. 877-792-9455 by phone. You can always get us by email, cs@revzilla.com. I'm Lemmy, I'm out of here.